Hello, leaders. Hey, this is Paul Grau, and welcome to Run to Your Leadership Challenges. This is the daily show that equips team leaders to lead through the challenges they face every day. So eventually, you're equipped and motivated to create super teams. So today, I'm going to continue to share some really big takeaways that I took away from the Maxwell International Certification Conference that I attended last week with my wife, Jen, down in Orlando, Florida. And today I want to share a part from John's briefing or John's presentation on his values or the Maxwell leadership values. Every conference, John goes over this because it is a certification conference for the non-certified Maxwell leadership team members. And after the conference, they're fully certified. And as alumni, we get to sit in there and watch a lot of the other briefings. Plus, we get special briefings and breakout sessions that the certification members don't. But I always love listening to John go through the values briefing because it's always a little bit different. Even though he's talking about the same values every time, man, he kind of explains them in a little different way. And each way is great. So this time, the one that really stood out to me is the value that the Maxwell leadership team has that says, exceed expectations. And when John talked about this, he said, when you exceed expectations, you put yourself in the top 2% of the workforce, the top 2%. So John gave some stats here. He said that 85% of the people out there, 85% of the employees or team members don't meet the expectations. They're below standards, 85%. So are you a part of that 85%? I can guarantee that you're probably not because you're listening to this show. And that tells me that you're interested in continually improving and growing. So he also said that 13% of the workers meet the expectations. So let's break that down again. 85% of the workforce doesn't even meet the standards. 13% meets the standards, and 2% exceed the standards. So here's my question for you today is, where are you exceeding the standards? You see, we shouldn't go to work or get up in the morning and say, hey, today I'm going to strive to meet the standards. Man, no. As leaders, we want to exceed the standards, always. We want to make things better for others. And if we're just making them okay for others, we're just meeting the standards. We're doing what we need to do. So what? You're with 13 other percent of the population and you're ahead of the 85%, but it's not really something to be super proud of. We want to exceed the standards or the expectations. Now, naturally, in order to exceed the expectations need to be clear. So as leaders, again, it's our responsibility to make sure the expectations are very clear for our people. Both my wife and I have both worked at jobs where we went into work and we didn't know the expectations. And it wasn't for lack of trying. We tried to sit down with our supervisors and our leaders, and we tried to figure out what the expectations were, but we never got a straight answer. And, I've been in several jobs like that, and that's just no way to live. That is not a healthy culture. So make sure your people know the standards, make sure they're clear and understandable. And one thing that John closed this part of the values brief was, he said, the expectations of others is not my ceiling. He said, it's his floor. Now, you got to understand, when John talks about the ceiling, he's talking about his law of the lid, where a lot of us have this lid, and once we bump up to that lid, we don't go any higher. And he says the law of the lid is to push that ceiling up, all right? Push that lid off. So you got a potential, you got a vast variety of possibilities out there, and, you don't even know what your limit is, right? That's where we want to be. So John said the expectations of others is not his ceiling. It's not his lid. It's the floor. So he wants to get up to their expectations and he wants to blow that lid away and he wants to exceed those standards because that's his floor. Man, what a way to look at work. What a way to look at our leadership abilities and our leadership skills and our team members. Don't think of the expectations as your ceiling. Think of them as your floor. That's your starting point. We're here to exceed the standards, exceed the expectations. So let's get after it. Hey, that's it for today. So have a great rest of your day and go out there and exceed the expectations. Get in that top 2% of the workforce. And I'll guarantee you'll never regret it. So I hope you have a great rest of your day. And until tomorrow, run to your challenges.